Hey dudes, Silvite Soltis here, and today I have another installment of Memories of TBC for you all to enjoy. As I'm sure we all learned from watching 7 seasons of My Little Pony, friendship is magic. So today, that's what I'm going to be talking about. The story of how I met one of my longest in-game friends in World of Warcraft. As far as I'm aware, this is the final big event that I experienced before finally being able to step through the dark portal. Although, at this point, the lines are quite blurry, so it might have actually happened slightly after my first adventures in Outland on my priest. Either way, it's a memory that I cherish from out in the open world of Kalimdor from back in the day. So, here it is. Before getting into the story though, I'd just like to take the time to say thanks for coming to watch this video. If you enjoy it, then subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so that you get updates when I release new content like this in the future. There's a lot more coming as we head toward the classic TBC, so let's keep the hype train going, shall we? But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get right into the story. It was a hot and humid May day back in 2007. I'd recently come home from a Saturday morning kendo practice at school to my newest and final host family's house, and I wanted to relax a bit through the afternoon. My host parents were still busy with work and errands until the evening, so I had free range of the house. And you know what that means to a 17-year-old. World of Warcraft on the family laptop. I sat down at the short coffee table in the small living room of the house, just in front of the couch. Firing up the laptop, I eagerly wondered what I should do today. Should I take my priest around to farm gold? Level my Tauren druid through the mid-20s? Or continue the grind on my favorite alt, Aoyama Motoko? I chose the third option, and swiftly logged onto my purple elf lady to go continue a quest chain that I had just recently started a few days prior, in Felwood. Though I had hearthed back to Darnassus to gain that sweet rested experience in my previous play session, I was soon back in that creepy forest, and began making my way down to the middle of the zone, to an area called Jadenar. I don't recall the specific details of the quests over here, to be honest, but the general gist of it was that I had to kill a bunch of these cultists in and around the cave, and then light some braziers inside. Easy work, I thought. But as I made my way toward the cave, I realized that this was not going to be so easy. You see, there are a bunch of mobs packed in fairly close proximity in this general area. And while I should have learned how to pull mobs back to a safe distance by this point, being a warrior and all, I didn't. Instead, I charged toward a cultist, since that's what warriors do. However, there was a caster just a bit too close to it. By the time I'd finished the first mob, I was around 40% health. All of a sudden, another cultist was on top of me. A patrol, perhaps, or maybe just some random mob that I hadn't seen when I'd first charged in. Oh crap, I thought. I'm gonna die. I smashed the retaliation button, thinking that it might somehow save me from the shadow bolts that were coming at me like machine gun fire. But just as I was about to die, something else flew past me. A flurry of arrows and a giant cat. And man, that kitty looked pissed. Regaining my composure, I clicked on the only health potion that I had left, which somehow I'd forgotten I had until that point. I looked around while smashing Mortal Strike on the closest mob, and discovered just who my savior had been. A male night elf hunter by the name of Thrillseeker. Well, he'd certainly lived up to his name with this pack, that's for sure. I thanked him for helping me as my warrior ate some random food that I had stored in my bags. Then, I asked whether he was doing the same quest as I was, to which he nodded. You wanna group up then? Sure. Thrillseeker and I spent about an hour in that cave that afternoon, killing cultists, lighting braziers, and even escorting that one night elf out of the cave to safety. We died a couple of times toward the end of the quest chain, but had a blast throughout it all. While we fought, we chit-chatted about why we were both playing at like 2 a.m. server time. As it turns out, he lived in California and typically played late after work, while I was in Japan on a study abroad and played when I could log on. He'd only just recently started playing the game and was on his first character, whereas I was considered a veteran by this point. All in all, it was a friendly exchange and a nice change of pace from the mostly solo experience that I'd grown accustomed to over the past few months playing in the dead of Azeroth's night. By the time we'd wrapped everything up in Felwood, we'd added each other to our friends lists, and agreed to do a dungeon or some more questing together at some point. At the time, I remember feeling like that would be it, that we'd just part ways and probably never see each other again. Little did I know we'd interact much, much more over the years to come. I hope you enjoyed this short story of friendship in the big wide world of Warcraft. Thrillseeker and I continued to quest and dungeon together on and off throughout the Burning Crusade leveling experience, which was obviously a lot of fun. Eventually, around the end of July, when I got my priest up to level 70, I left the guild that I'd been with for most of vanilla, the Guardians of Azeroth, and joined his guild, the Reservoir Dog Cows of Whisperwind. This guild ended up being my home for most of the Burning Crusade, and you can still see some old raiding videos of ours here on YouTube, even to this day. But if it hadn't been for the one fateful day in Felwood, on my warrior, I might never have found that guild. And so, many of the stories to come in this particular series would have turned out very, very differently. So, thanks Thrillseeker. Whether you know it or not, I owe a lot of my WoW experiences from 2007 onward to you. Thanks for saving my ass in Felwood that day. Anyway though, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this story and would like to hear more of my adventures from the Burning Crusade back in the day, then subscribe and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss any stories in the future. Follow me over on Twitter for updates as well, and check out my blogs over on Blogspot if you like things in written form instead. In any case, thanks for watching, have an awesome day, and I'll catch you next time, guys. Take it easy.